Okay, so continuing on with question 2 about magnesium oxide. We just calculated the percentage by mass of magnesium in magnesium oxide is 60%. And in question 2.2, it's asking us to make a mixture that contains 15% of magnesium ions by mass. So what that's saying is if I have a certain amount of a mixture, 15% of it is going to be magnesium. And so in order to do that, if I know I have a 200 gram portion of this mixture and 15% of it is going to be magnesium, what is the mass of magnesium that must be in that mixture? So I take my mass of mixture, which is 200 grams, and multiply it by the percentage. So you can do that either by multiplying by 0.15 or by multiplying by 15 divided by 100, whichever is your preference of converting percentages, and that will give you a mass of magnesium within that mixture of 30 grams. Okay, so 30 grams is essentially 15% of 200. So that's where that answer comes from. We're then going to use both of these answers here, the 60% and the 30 grams, to work out a slightly more complicated example, in that if the mixture is to contain magnesium, i.e. it's going to contain 30 grams of magnesium, and all of that magnesium, as it says in the first sentence, is going to come from magnesium oxide, then how much magnesium oxide am I going to need to add into 200 grams in order to generate that correct amount? So what that's saying is essentially I need to work back to a larger mass of magnesium oxide, knowing that I have to generate 30%, or I have to generate 30 grams of magnesium, knowing that only 60% of whatever my mass was is going to be 30 grams. So I have to put in a larger mass of magnesium oxide, knowing that only a smaller percentage of it is actually magnesium. And how do I calculate that? So what I do is I take 100, which would assume it was full. I divide by the percentage of the composition, which in this case is 60%, and that's ultimately going to calculate a scale factor by which I can then multiply by the mass that I need. And if you number crunch that using a calculator, you'll get to 50 grams of magnesium oxide as your answer. So what that's saying is if I put 50 grams of magnesium oxide into the mixture, knowing very well that 60% of magnesium oxide is actually magnesium, then the final result will be the 30 grams, which is the amount of magnesium I'm actually wanting. 2.3 is a very difficult and quite wordy calculation, really, and it would generally come on, but again, they've given you certain numbers you could use if you wanted to try using the other values as well. But that's the way of doing that. But again, there's quite a complicated mathematical example to finish off with. But the mass of magnesium oxide we would need in order to satisfy the criteria of questions 2.1 and 2.2 would be 50 grams.